to highlight this evening is something that comes up again when you do begin to expand, when you do begin to search, when you do begin to consciously begin to define yourself. And this takes the form, very often, of seemingly conflicting bits or parts of you. Very often individuals will simply say, well, part of me believes this, perhaps the thing that you prefer to believe, and the other part of me believes something else. Perhaps, again, what you do not prefer. And very often individuals will create this in the form of what you sometimes label a quandary and allow a particular paralysis, for they feel that they are indeed divided up into these parts that are diametrically opposed. Very good. Understand, however, that there is another way to look at it, as there is another way to look at anything. And that is by redefining when you feel that there are parts of you at odds. That rather than perceiving them as divisions, as parts are, perceiving them as choices or options within you. Even your willingness to change the wording, the perspective, and rather than there being, again, parts playing a tug of war with your consciousness, you may simply understand that now that you have defined them as choices, rather than discrete parts of you, that this now presupposes that you can choose between them and understand that you can. Now, we have discussed many times the idea that the ultimate truth is composed of all truths. So therefore, all choices within you are true. So it is not a matter of you being able to figure out which choice is true, for they are both true. And were you willing to assume either one of those positions or choices, you will then emotionally feel that that is true within its own frame. But what we are suggesting is that the other part, the other choice, is just as true. So first of all, equalizing these parts, redefining them as choices, and then equalizing those choices, not wishing to escape or get rid of one of them, but simply defining what they are. The form of defining what they are allows us to bring into play another aspect that we have discussed with, that being the tool of your imagination. For we have discussed many times that your personality is composed of a prism that breaks down the white light of intuition, and the three sides that comprise this prism is belief, emotion, and thought. Therefore, you can understand that any choice within you is a belief, and therefore generates an emotion, generates thought patterns, and based on the foundation of these beliefs, emotions, and thoughts, generates particular actions, which then support that belief, which then allow you to experience that belief at the exclusion of all other truths. Therefore, this applies as well to the choices. One of the things that will enable you to define them and consciously decide between them is utilizing your imagination in a way that we have shared before. Sitting down, perhaps when you have some time and can relax and isolate yourself, center yourself. Simply begin, we suggest, at first with the more negative or least preferred choice. Sit down. State that choice. State the position of that part of that belief system. While you are stating it, allow the corresponding emotion, as it automatically always will, to muster up, to build up within you, and truly feel how having that perspective, making that choice, being that part, using the older terminology of feels, how it truly feels. Now, in general, since we are discussing at first doing the less preferential term, that emotion will be heavy, perhaps negatively interpreted. You can then very easily extrapolate that But the point is to state the idea, feel how it is, allow yourself to allow you to generate, but then feel at the notice the thoughts that are then when choosing that particular non-preferred dive into, allow yourself to use that idea, allow yourself to discover the result, emotional thought pattern, of that particular perspective. When you have to evaluate how it is, then after you have blanked out the canvas, allow yourself to now take the preferred choice, but state it as fact, as those already. When you allow they will again generate a lighter emotion, a more energizing emotion, and will then correspondingly generate thought, and again through the imagination extrapolation, instead of action, truly allow yourself to now feel how that is. When you are through doing that and have established the actions of the preferred group, now compare. For again, it is not that one has any more weight than the other. Your willingness to play them both out equally allows you to interpret and assign them as equal, and thereby gives you equal.
You all have interesting characters, but
when
some of them
you
are all
create the
hidden.
new emotions, compare them to the others.
I wonder why you all want to dress always the same.
Not moving from it, and yet you
The
have
same hats, the same coats.
by simply
I'm
stating
sure all of you are interesting and have wonderful things about you. Looking at you in the street, you all look so much the same. Try and express yourselves better.
More positive, more energizing. Where give yourself that one thing is also the way that you then manifest the choice that is by again doing action. Render them not having gotten rid of the choices not preferred, but acknowledged and simply chosen something else. This is integration. This is transformation. For mating, if you will, a new point of view according to preparation. Now, very often,
consciousness of that part of life which man could comprehend. So the problem was to gradually discover some way of transforming a skeletal system to become the basis of a great theological mystery. The result was astrotheology, which is probably the first organization of man's religious beliefs. This organization was firmly established in mathematics and astronomy. And the graces which assisted under the heading of music and art have always been part of classical religion. All of these religious systems, therefore, became gradually integrated around astronomy, mathematics, and music. Those who wish to enter the school of Pythagoras must first pass an examination in these three sciences. For to the ancients, music was also a science. Any of the other teachers who came along, or were in other parts of the world, put similar restraints upon the communication of knowledge. They had to test the individual as to whether he was truly worthy, on the ground that the more he knew, the more he could pervert himself. If he was selfish, he could use it to destroy or offend or disintegrate the society to which he belonged. He also was provided with the ambition which might lead him to conquer, war, and many great disasters. So the ancients had been tested. Now Homer, in a section of his writing called the Cave of the Nymph, describes the initiation rituals of the ancient astrotheology. And we first point out and notice that the one great religious, astronomical, mathematical day was New Year, the winter solstice. This was the beginning of the year for antiquity. But at the beginning of the year, this solstice point was of the greatest and most basic importance. Well, I think we must also realize in studying this that practically every religion and esoteric system in heaven and world today developed in the northern hemisphere. And all of the calculations that are made are based upon the precession of equinoxes and, of course, the solar system of the year on or in the area of the northern hemisphere. At that time, we find the zodiac already fairly well known. We find that most of the symbols found in religion were also to be found in astronomy. We realize, for example, that the 72 elders of Israel were the 5-degree division of the circle of the zodiac. We know that the 12 signs became 12 apostles, 12 disciples, 12 leaders, and also that the course of time were associated with 12 major religious revelations. We find that almost every unit that has to do with man's survival is in some way mathematically key to the zodiac. Now in the old time, and even later in the mystical writings of Jacob Graham, the arrangement of the zodiac is slightly different from what we generally use in astronomy or astrology today. We still begin, technically, the zodiac with the sign of Aries. But whereas we usually think of this as placed on the eastern angle of a horoscope, in the ancient times, the sign of Aries was placed in the midheaven. In other words, it was at the highest point, and that was the point of the, we might say, the beginning of the year, the New Year's ceremony, usually occurring between the 20th and the 25th or 27th of December. At this time, the sun was born again. It rose from the dead of the old year. It began to move northward, and in moving northward with its own strange power, began to release the life locked in the earth. So the ancients considered the sun as the principal symbol of deity. No ancient person of wisdom or insight ever thought of the sun as that being, but rather the mirror of it. To the Greeks, the sun god carried a shield, and this shield was the mirror of the sun. It was not the sun, but the sun was there as a symbol of order, life, resurrection, fertility, and inwardly of the illumination of the soul. Therefore the sun became an object of worship everywhere. In Egypt, for instance, in the course of the development of the doctrine of Akhenaten, the great reformer of Egyptian mysticism, the Aton, or sun, was the supreme symbol. This symbol in the Egyptian was a ball of light surrounded by radiant rays each of the rays ending in the symbol of the human hand. Therefore, the sun was radiating in all directions, lifting up everything that came in contact with, bringing death to life out of the earth. Now, this seemed to be very interesting to most ancient people. It helped them to understand something about life, which otherwise was too difficult for them. The sun also, whether we realize it or not, became a symbol of deity in early Christianity. It was definitely associated with the nimbus, the halo, and the radiance around the heads of saints. It was the symbol of spiritual light manifesting through the physical light of nature.
To highlight this evening is something that comes up again when you do begin to expand, when you do begin to search, when you do begin to consciously begin to define yourself. And this takes the form, very often, of seemingly conflicting bits or parts of me. Very often individuals will simply say, well, part of me believes this, perhaps the thing that you prefer to believe, and the other part of me believes something else. Perhaps, again, what you do not prefer. And very often individuals will create this in the form of what you sometimes label a quandary, and allow a particular paralysis, for they feel that they are indeed divided up into these parts that are diametrically opposed. Very simple. Understand, however, that there is another way to look at it, as there is another way to look at it. And that is by redefining when you feel that there are parts of you at odds. That rather than perceiving them as divisions, as try to build